Okay, students, good morning. I hope you all are safe at your homes and now turn to work hard and focus on your studies. Okay, so today we are going to start with chapter number 1 from your book Behive. I hope you all have your books. If you do not have, please purchase it as soon as possible. The name of the chapter is The Fun They Had. From the book of Behive, chapter number 1, the fun they have. Now we are going to start with the text. Let's start. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary on the page headed 17th May 2157. She wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book." As we know that we are living in 21st century, the year is 2020, but in this story they are talking about future 21,057. Okay, so Margie is a female character. She is a girl of age 11 and she wrote in his diary the day he dated on it 17th May 2157, means 17th May 21,057. Okay, she wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book." In that page, she wrote, "Today Tommy." Tommy is another character who is 13 years old and he is a boy. He found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandmother once said that when he was a little boy, Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. As today we have these kinds of printed books, but in future she is expecting that she is saying that there will no books, everything will be based on screen. जैसे कि आज भी हम लोग we are doing lots of work through media, lots of work through computer. Okay, so in future there will maybe no paperwork at all. Okay, so it was a very old book. That book was very old. Margie's grandfather once said, grandfather once said to her that when her grandfather was when a small boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all books were printed on paper. They turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. The book was very old, it was yellow in color and it was wrinkled pages in there. And it was very funny for them to read it. Supposed to on a screen, and then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time. When they read that particular book first time, they got that in both pages, back pages and front pages. There was something copied equal. G said, "Tommy, what a waste when you are through with the book, through the book. You just throw it away." Tommy said that this is the wastage of time, throw it. There is no need to read this useless book. "I guess our television screen must have had a million books on it." And Tommy again said that our screen has lots of books. Same books on screen. We are wasting our time in a single book. If we open our screen, we will get lots of book on it. It is good for plenty more, and these books which we will get in our screen, it will be more good than this one. I would not throw it away. Same with mine, said Margie. Margie said that no, I am not going to throw it. She was 11 and had not seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. Margie was only 11 years old, so Tommy 13 was 13 years old. So Tommy had seen more telebooks than Margie. She said, where did you find it? Margie asked to Tommy, where did you find this book? In my house. She pointed without looking because he was busy reading in the attic. He answered in an impression that I got it in at my house, and he was very busy in reading that book. In the attic, the meaning of attic, the corner of a house. What's it about? School. Margie asked, this book belongs to what? And Tommy replied, school. Margie was scornful. School? What is there to write about school? I hate school. Margie said, what about school? I hate school. What in it about school? What had written in it about school? Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. Margie always hated school, but this time her feeling for school is bitter. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for county inspector. Uh, Actually, Margie's school was in at his home. Her home, sorry. Margie's school was at her own home, just beside her bedroom. There was a screen from which she got her lessons, she got her exercises and test papers and marking at all. Okay. So the mechanical teacher from screen, she got lots of tests in geography through mechanical teacher, and the condition of Margie in studies is going worse to worst. Margie is not doing well in her studies. So her mother called county inspector there. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple. Then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped he would not know how to put it together again, but he knew all right, and after an hour or so on. So he was the county inspector, had a very little red face, had a red face, and he was very little in height. So he was there with his whole box of tools and wires. So the county inspector smiled at Margie, and he gave her an apple, and then he took that mechanical teacher apart from there. Margie was thinking that these wires and drills, maybe the inspector would not remember it longer. Maybe he forgot what was the sequence of this. But when he entered again in the room, he managed everything very correctly, and it is remembered by him for a long period, for a long time. Large and black and ugly with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That was so bad. Margie does not like this school. She hates studies. So again the lesson starts again. The questioning, lessons, homeworks, marking at all. The part Maggie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test paper. The most hated part of this room for Margie was the part where she had to put her homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code they made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. She had to put her homework there and
बसाऊं तेरे संग मैं अलग दुनिया ना आए कभी दोनों में जरा भी फासले बस एक तू हो एक मैं हूँ और कोई ना है मेरा सब कुछ तेरा तू समझ ले तू चाहे मेरे
I'm sorry for this interruption. I'm so sorry. Let's start again. She always had to write them out in a punch. So I told you that she had to put her homework and her test paper at that corner, and the mechanical teacher had to calculate and mark in within no time. Okay. The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to her mother, "It is not the little girl's fault, Mr. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I have slowed it up to an average 10-year level actually. The overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory," and he patted Margie's head again. So inspector push in her we can say pampering on her head. Then inspector smiled and he was finished and patted Margie's head. See, he said to her mother. Then the inspector said to Margie's mother, "It is not the little girl's fault." He said that this is not the fault of this little cute girl, Mrs. Jones. The name of Margie's mother is Mrs. Jones. "I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick." He said that geography sector is going so fast. No one can easily understand it. Okay. Those things happen sometimes. This is the very natural. Sometimes happens. I have slowed it up to an average 10 years level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. The progress of Margie is satisfactory. I am not saying that she is very intelligent, very wise, but her performance is satisfactory. And he patted Margie's head again, and the inspector patted her head again. So I am going to stop it here, and we will proceed again tomorrow. Okay? Sorry, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Okay? So rest of the chapter you need to read at your home. We will proceed it tomorrow. So stay at your home, focus on your study and purchase your books as soon as possible. Okay? Good day.